All right, guys. So I just want to go ahead and start getting some of this information out there on my journey for uh, cleaning my body out and switching to a raw diet. I went I went raw and then I juiced for like 115 days straight, and then been pretty much raw ever since. Um, when I first found fasting, I had one of the first people I had come across was, preaching. I mean, this is how he did it, about salt water and the necessity for electrolytes and the minerals and stuff from the salt, and how it was imperative in your fasting. And so I fell into that, a while back, like 7, 8 years ago when I first found fasting. And it was, these are the traps of putting your trust in and not, thinking for yourself. Because that was, until recently, until about a month and a half ago, I have been consuming salt, thinking that, that was an essential thing that I needed. And maybe at times in your journey, especially when you're first cleaning out, that's probably a good idea just to support your system, because your body will be flushing so much crap out of you when you go raw, especially on just a fruit and on a fruit and distilled water. But it's completely unnecessary. And what it does, so what was happening was I was getting like gout-like symptoms in my feet, like my toes would get cramp up real bad. Or if I used my hands too much, I would get cramps in my hands. And I would notice when I would do like a dry fast, or, I would limit my salt intake, that it wasn't as bad. And so when I came across this distilled water thing, and this got brought up to me by this breatharian that I'm in conversation with, uh, he said, "Man, you got to get off the salt. It kills you. Salt is death." And I had heard that. Of course, I had delved back into the whole salt thing over and over and over again throughout the years, and everything I found about distilled water, or would come across very quickly about distilled water, was it was very unsafe. It flushes your system out. It takes everything you need out of your system. You could die, and all this stuff. Lies, 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 lies. And, this might be their truths. These might be these people's truths. But, and it, like I said, it might be true for you in the beginning of your journey. But in the end, ultimately, that truth is based on the constructs of lies. And until you break that all the way down, you get caught up in it. And like I did for years. And so, anyways, I went on this distilled water only, and oh my God, did it make a difference? Every joint, everything just went away within 2 days. And for me, it was so quick because I had cleaned my whole system out, and the only problem I was dealing with was because I was taking so much salt in. It was, going into my joints. And that causes arthritis, it causes gout, it causes all that crap. So somebody had asked about the spring water, and I would just say, you know, people swear by spring water. People swear by their well water if they live out in the country. Because their grandma used it, and it's proven. And yeah, but your grandma also ate animal flesh. Your grandma also signed your mom up to these slavery systems with her birth certificate and all of these things. We got to be careful looking at what our ancestors did. We're literally paving the path. The time we're in right now is the burning down of all of these systems, all of these traditions, all of these passed down, things that might have worked for our ancestors in a different time period, but certainly don't work for us now. So spring water, that's what I was drinking. I was drinking spring water. We have there's only one company that sells water around here, Berkeley Spring Water, that actually takes their water from springs. All these other idiots that sell spring water, all these other companies in the grocery store that say spring water, if you really look into it, they're just taking it from municipalities. They're taking it from the straight from the municipalities, and they're cleaning it through reverse osmosis or whatever else, and they're putting, their minerals back into it. It's a gimmick. They're just selling you bullshit. The other thing I was asked about was feelings of hunger. So now when I get all my feelings of hunger now are from anxiety. Every single feeling of hunger I get stems from anxiety, period. Uh, so I'm no longer dealing with the parasites, activating those hunger symptoms within me, like that, feeling in your belly. Oh my God, I'm so empty. I need food. I need food. So that feeling is not only based on the parasites, but it's also based on your just, the habit of your system being expanded and contracted constantly, working constantly, having something to do constantly. A lot of those feelings are your body, really telling you stop. um, so yeah, my any feelings of hunger that I get, and this has been like this probably for about 6 months now, and that's literally how long it took me. So it took me like 2 years to maybe a little over 2 years. Yeah, a little over 2 years being on a raw diet to completely clean my system out. And not that it's completely 100% cleaned out, but to get to this point where I'm no longer dealing with, feelings of hunger. I don't get hungry throughout the day. There's no hunger. Literally, the only time I get hungry is when I don't have anything else to do and I get anxiety, like, I need something, and so that's why being still and creating that stillness within is so important. Another thing, the smell, no showers. Through my detox, I haven't been taking showers. Last year, I counted, and I probably took a dozen showers all year. Um, and again, those were the only reason I take showers is if I get in uh, like if I'm working in insulation or in an attic or crawl space, or something nasty like that, where because I have municipal water in our, just like every municipality out there probably, our water is extremely toxic, bad. I mean, it's bad water. I've done many experiments with my water, and it is disgusting. And to know that your largest organ in your body, which is your skin, is intaking that every time you get in a shower, I can't justify daily showers, for the benefit of having clean skin. It's complete bullshit. Your smells that come from your body are all to do with the poisonous food that you're taking into your body. Processed foods and animal flesh are the two worst things that create smells in your body. That toxicity is unbelievable, and all of those smells are coming out of your body from that food, so-called food. I haven't worn deodorant in 3 years, over 3 years. Oh, getting back to the smells again, when you detox, you're gonna smell bad. Your skin, you're gonna randomly get smells coming out of your skin, and you're just like, what is that shit? Did somebody take a shit in here? And that's literally your body detoxing that old sludge that's in you. Also, speaking on that sludge, when I did that 115-day juice fast, the things that came out of me in the toilet were just unbelievable, unreal. I mean, you're just like, you're looking at it, and I mean, it really makes you, when you start doing that, it really makes you wonder, like, how, no, it makes you think, God dang it, man, no wonder I was having so many problems. This sludge has been sitting inside me, just toxifying the shit out of me. And it's been in you for years since you started this shit when you were a kid. Um, Things like dishes, toilet paper. Um, I don't have anything on my toilet paper when I wipe. Um, and that's been like that for at least a year now. When I was doing my soups, my homemade soups this past year, very basic, all raw, raw ingredients, fresh ingredients. I use like 7 or 8 different vegetables, cut them up, throw them in a pot with spring water, and put salt and seasonings in there, and that was it. And but then, when I was doing that, I would have a little bit of something on my toilet paper, but I would never have to use more than 3 pieces of toilet paper, you know. So you can imagine like the money saved on your dishes. I mean, the amount of dishes I use is just minimum. I use like a fork, a knife, a spoon, and uh, a plate. That's it. That's all I use every day when I eat. And so you can imagine the savings on all of these things, the body care products, um, all of it. Then consider the time shopping, shopping for your food, preparing your food, cooking your food. Guys, all food that is cooked is dead nutrition. And the only reason I justified making soups this past winter was I really wanted to try it out and see, after cleaning myself out, and see the difference. And the way I was able to justify soups was because I was like, well, I'm not, it's not dissipating, because I would put a lid on my pot and I would only heat it up as much as I needed to in order to make it all mixed together and get the veggies soft enough to eat, right? And so I justified it by saying, well, all the vitamins and minerals are coming back into it, and and I'm not losing anything. But it's all a lie. As soon as you heat something up, you're losing things. Yes, you can research it, and you're activating certain things, and by heating it, you're getting rid of certain protective mechanisms within the vegetables that prevent your body and cause inflammation or allergic reactions within your body. Yeah, there's all kinds of things. You can really justify it all, but in the end, eating should not be this difficult. Like your health should not be this difficult, and that's why switching to all fruits and distilled water is so important. It really just, you prove to yourself how easy and simple life really is, and how unnecessary and superfluous all this intake that we're doing, and all this knowledge that we're getting of researching every vitamin and every mineral and what it does and how they work together. It's all horseshit. It's 100% horseshit. But yeah, saving that time of shopping, preparing food, cooking, thinking about food, asking the family what they want for dinner that night, trying to get different meals, trying to keep it switched up, trying to balance it out for your nutritional needs. It's all horseshit, guys. Your body is literally any condition you think you have: hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, this food reaction, that allergic reaction, this low index, that glycemic index, this vitamin B12 reading. It's all horseshit. Your body is literally going to readjust and fix itself if you just leave it the fuck alone. You are not smarter than your body. You are not smart, and you never will be. You can research all you want, and you will send yourself, like I said with me with salt, you will end up committing yourself and putting your trust over into some idiot who has put his trust over into some system or way of doing something, or recent breakthroughs in what they found in the phytonutrients of this and that, and it's all horseshit. All supplements are horseshit. It's all horseshit. And again, that's not to, when you start out on this and you want to do a major detox, yes, taking things like wormwood, clove, and whatever. There's like 15 different, common things that are great for detoxing your system and helping to get rid of the parasites and keeping things at bay. And just remember, when you are doing parasite flushes, they leave, uh, uh, not seeds, but what is it? They leave their offspring inside of you, their eggs inside of you, and these things can sit incubating for 180 days. I mean, you're talking about a half a year. So unless you are keeping your intake proper, and I had to do mine for 2 years, guys, 2 years, before that cycle finally ended inside of me, of committed, dedicated, uh, intake. And so I'm just letting you know that this isn't like, oh, I'm going to do juicing for 3 months and then my life's going to turn around. No, it's not. You're going to fool yourself into thinking it is, because look, even up to last year, I quit passing biofilm. I quit passing biofilm through my stools about 8 months ago. And up to that point, what was happening for the year prior to that, it was every 4 to 6 weeks, like every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm in this clear period, right? Where my stools are looking great. I'm feeling good and everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden I would get all of these symptoms back and just start feeling weird again. And then my stool would show me what was happening. It was every 4 to 6 weeks. My diet through this raw diet and fruits, I would pass the next layer of biofilm. And so, these biofilms, you got to think, just like the tree rings, as you build up throughout the years, these parasites are building walls and walls over the years of biofilm, where they're hiding behind, that protects them from anything that you might consume that might harm them. So that way, as soon as it signals that you put lemon in your mouth, or you put this in your mouth, or you ate a clove or whatever, they immediately go into hiding behind this biofilm, which is their protective layer. And so, as that fruit is magnetizing these toxins out of you, it hits that first layer of biofilm, and you pass that first layer of biofilm, and that biofilm, you'll know what biofilm is when it comes out in your poop, because it looks like a milky, creamy substance, and it wraps around it'll usually be wrapped around your stool. And of course, that's different from mucus too. Mucus is a whole nother issue. Mucus and bile are a whole different issue, and you'll notice that floats on top of the water. That is, you'll see it. I mean, you will know when you see this stuff. Trash. I've had the same trash bag in my trash can, and I got a large trash can, a huge trash can actually. But I have the same trash bag in my trash can. It's probably been in there for about 6 weeks now, and I'm just now getting ready to change it out, probably this weekend. So you can imagine the trash, and then having to take the trash, and having to dump trash, and having to haul the trash to the corner, and having to do all this. I mean, guys, this one thing will completely change your life. It will blow your mind on so many levels that you won't even believe it. It will break programs, it will break belief systems, it will break false identities, it will break so many things that you are clinging to and saying, no, this is it, and you can't ever tell me otherwise. And it's like, well, don't let me. Experiment for yourself, do these things for yourself and find out. And one other thing I wanted to comment on, I'm not talking about veganism. I do not, I am not a proponent of veganism whatsoever. Veganism is like the lesser evil of animal flesh consumption. That's all it is. At least with veganism, you are not contributing to propagating and perpetuating and consenting to the satanic ritual sacrifice and abuse of animals. But vegans are sick because they eat processed garbage and cooked foods. It's no different. It is no different. They are consuming all of these. They love their processed foods. They absolutely love their processed foods. And veganism to me is just a virtue signaling, bullshit. It's just a cop out. It's like a halfway point. It's like sitting on the fence. You're really not going to get anywhere. You're going to make, and vegans, that's why a lot of vegans have a lot of health issues and have to take a lot of supplements because they're still introducing all of that processed shit and cooked dead food into their bodies. And one last thing, we just have to remember the cell is autonomous. If it's proven over and over again. You put a cell in a petri dish and that thing will last forever. It doesn't break down, nothing happens to it. It sits there, it lasts forever until you introduce a toxin or a poison. And then it breaks the cell down. And hence we have the false narrative of nutrition and necessity for a balanced diet and all of this. Because once you strip that cell down, now that cell can regenerate on its own. If you were to take those toxins out, that cell will regenerate. That cell will, because the cell is autonomous, it has everything it needs to renew. But if you are going to constantly poison it, and I think that's why the slough off of billions of cells in our body every day happens, is because of the toxins we introduce. That's why our bodies are brand new every year and a half. Every year and a half, your body, every organ, everything in your body is brand new every year and a half. And that's why it's so important to, with just consuming fruits, because you're at least, fruits are carrying light. They're carrying light energy from the sun. They're carrying light energy from the minerals in the soil. They're carrying light energy, that your cells can respond and interact with. And so when your cells are dying off and they're rebuilding, instead of rebuilding them with McDonald's, instead of rebuilding them with satanic ritually sacrificed animal flesh, you're rebuilding them with at least something that was energized by the sun. So think of us like cells, autonomous, self-regulating, and we all hold the same capacity. So cells also, each cell, individual cell in your body holds the capacity to take the part of any other part of your body. So the cell in your liver could have been the exact same cell that's in your heart or in your brain. It doesn't matter. They have the ability to create into whatever is necessary to work together symbiotically within that system of your body. And so this really doesn't, it sort of corresponds. But I think of us like a cell, right? So you have trillions of cells in your body. Each one could have been anything, but it expresses itself individually and works together symbiotically with other cells to create different things in your body. And that's what we are. That's what each individual one of us are. We are all the same, but we are all the same in our divinity, but in these physical bodies, expressing ourselves and fulfilling a certain part of the whole, our own uniqueness. And so Yeah, that I mean, I want to go in deep on that sometime later, but just something to think about. These are things to just think about. Think about on your own. You don't even have to research this shit. Like I said, do these experiments on your own. All these blood tests, guys. Blood tests are the biggest bunch of bullshit. You can take a blood test and half an hour later take another blood test and get a completely different reading. And, this isn't for somebody with chronic condition, that's been living with a chronic condition their whole life. Of course, you're going to get, pretty much the same results every blood test. But I'm talking about people who are detoxing or coming off of something. Your body is adjusting and it's compensating constantly. And so you can go in and get a blood test one day and then go and get a blood test the next day, and your readings are going to be completely different. And that's the problem with putting your faith in these doctors and their tests and their systems and their voodoo magic and all this bullshit that they got. You really just have to start experimenting on your own and trust yourself and get in tune with your body. And, instead of just freaking out at every symptom you have, spending that time, energy, and attention instead of trying to gain all this knowledge on phytonutrients and minerals and all the different things of how the different vegetables work. And do it if you want. I'm just telling you, you're spinning in circles. You want to make a real change, switch to only fruits, switch to distilled water, give it a month and see what's coming out of your system. See how you feel. See if all your arthritis and gout and all these joint pains start going away. And then the other thing you need to focus on is your fascia. Your fascia is the next thing you need to focus on, because most of these problems we're having are fascia related. If you haven't had a lot of sports injuries or work related injuries or back, neck injuries, then you're dealing with a lot of pains. It's coming from your fascia. It's coming from the stored salt and toxicity within your system, and it's coming from an extremely tight fascia that is limiting your movement and causing your stress on your organs, stress on your muscular and skeletal systems, and inhibiting your movement, freedom of movement, and causing anxiety and pain. So hopefully that helps. Leave your questions if you guys have any questions. Those were just quick notes I made, things that might help you guys along the way right now. But the biggest thing I can say is trust yourselves, trust your own bodies. And it's hard to do when, that self that you're trying to trust has been poisoning yourself for decades, has been looking for every cope, distraction, and chemical intake to take your mind off of the signals that your body is sending you that you need to stop. Just stop. Just give it a break. Just rest. So wishing you guys the best. Take care of yourselves. Nobody else will.